Hey everybody, it's Brandon LoCaren and welcome to my YouTube channel. I just wanted to kind of give out a heads up of what we're going to be doing in the upcoming weeks. And we're going to be talking about a strategy that's really cool to me. It's called the BRRRR strategy. And no, I'm not talking about it's cold outside. I'm saying that it's a BRRRR strategy that really works. And let me tell you a 10,000 foot view of why it works and how it works. And then in future videos, we're going to be going more in depth about each segment. We'll be learning a lot, and I'll be showing you guys a lot of how to calculate things in properties and whatnot. So we're going to be going through terms and definitions. So some of the terms we're going to be going over are ROI, or return on investments. We're going to go over cash on cash return, how to get the best cash on cash return, your net operating income, what's included in your net operating income, the 1% rule and what it means, right? So 1% meaning that when you buy a property for, let's say $1 million, and 1% of $1 million is $10,000, it should rent for $10,000 a month, and that's the 1% rule. We're also going to be going over rehab costs and understanding like what construction costs are, right? And how to really calculate those, because I feel like we as investors should understand how to calculate these costs and not only depend on our contractor to provide these things for us. We should be the ones also questioning and having, justifiable questioning when we are looking at these things with them. Then we're going to be looking at after repair values, or ARV, and how to calculate those. It's easy for me because I'm a realtor as well. So, I have all these resources for me. However, how can the general public and people that are not realtors and people that don't have the resources be able to calculate what their after repair value is? And I'll be showing you guys like exactly what you could do on Zillow or Redfin or whatever it may be. You could do this, right? So it's really easy to pull these comps and figure out what the property could sell for. With that, I recommend using the square foot price of a lot of properties, because that's going to give you the best understanding and idea of what a property could sell for. Then we're going to be going over the 70% rule. So 70% rule is essentially, what you should purchase a BRRRR strategy for, right? Or really any investment property that you're looking to walk into the property with profit, right? Robert Kiyosaki, who, phenomenal guy, wrote, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he's a big real estate guy. So he says you should buy your property with profit in mind, right? So you walk in with profit in hand and you got this. So next thing, we're going to be understanding cash flow, what's included in cash flow, cap rate, understanding what a good cap rate is, right? So, cap rate and the 1% rule could kind of go hand in hand together, right? So we can show you exactly like what a good cap rate is on a property. And then we're going to be going over loan to value. So what does a loan to value mean? What does it feel like? What should you be doing, and what should you expect from your lender about what a good loan to value is? And then, so jumping into the BRRRR and what it means, we're going to say, okay, so BRRRR means buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. Again, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And it's a method of real estate investing that focuses on buying distressed property for a huge discount, right? And then you put some money into it, you rehab it, then you rent it out, and then you do a cash out refinance, and then you repeat the process again, right? So if you do it right, and when you do it right, you should be left with no money in the deal and still have 20 to 25% equity in it, right? So it's ideal for an investor who has a thorough understanding of what the rental market in the area is, and also has a good handle on construction, right? And knowing what things should cost, because you got to be really quick at saying, okay, a bathroom is going to be about $10,000, or a master bath is a little bit more than a regular bathroom, or floors are $5 a square foot, or whatever it may be. You need to be really good at it. So we're going to be going through exactly like how I estimate, prices on houses and rehabs. So jumping into the buy, and this is again like just a 10,000 foot view. We're going to be looking at purchasing using the 70% rule, right? So buying the property for 70% of the ARV minus the construction cost. Then we're going to looking at lender refinance, and what they do as lenders and what they write out, in the process and what they expect from you. We're going to do rough construction costs and how to calculate that. And then that's going to help us figure out what a good offer price is, right? Then we're going to go into the financing options. So multitude of financing options, right? So essentially, you got hard money. We're going to talk about hard money and what to look for with hard money lenders. We're going to talk about seller financing, which is one of my favorite topics ever, because that's like how you can make like some serious money when you're investing in real estate when you do seller financing. And we're going to go through obviously the standard loan, right? So, if you're a regular person, you're doing standard conventional loan, you can do that. We're going to talk about what the property has to look like in order for you to buy it with the standard loan, right? Because some of these properties, you might have to do it with a, hard money lender or cash or have to do seller financing, right? Depending on the situation. Then we're going to jump into rehab, right? And we're going to talk about what a livable and a good rental is, right? So I always like to imagine myself living in the property if I had to, right? So if I had to live in this house, what would I want it to be like? And I don't mean I need marble everything. I mean, I love marble, don't get me wrong. However, I mean like what does it have to look like and what does it have to feel like? You're creating an experience for people that are living in your home, right? So you want to make sure that you have good reviews, right? So, and we're going to talk about how to increase value, right, without breaking the bank. One of my favorite things to do on investment properties is install cabin grade hardwood floors, right? And that's something that we can get for, $2.50 a square foot. And yeah, it's real solid hardwood, but it might look a little bit off from like one another. However, it's still hardwood versus doing carpet. And carpet can cost, $4 or $5 a square foot, and you have to replace it every time your tenant moves out. So when you add hardwood, for instance, you increase the property value, and also when your tenant moves out, you don't have to rip up the carpet and replace it. Like your hardwood is good, right? Like some of them like get better looking with age. So then we're going to talk about good contractors and how to select a good contractor. I'm lucky that I have my business partner Ricardo, who's a contractor. So he's really helpful. However, I have a lot of understanding with construction, and that's where my background's in. So I can help you guys determine like, hey, how to find a good contractor and how to make yourself become better at understanding construction cost, right? And then documentation. So what should you document? Why you should document it? Because the idea is that you're going to repeat this process over and over, right? And the more that you do, the easier it should become. Then we're going to go over like the property condition. So when you first walk through like what to expect and how to estimate these things, and make sure really you want a property that is structurally sound and might be really messy on the inside and even smelly, to be honest. And then we're going to talk about how to increase your return on investment. Like I said, hardwood floors versus carpet. The appraiser on the cash out refinance will give you more money for hardwood versus carpet, right? And then we like to do something called walls out remodeling, and I'll talk to you guys about that. However, it's really just almost gutting the property, if not gutting it, depending on the situation, and replacing everything, because it affects like the amount of callbacks you have after your tenant moves in. And that's something that you want to protect yourself, because every time you have to go back to a job or go back to a project, like you're costing yourself money. And so then we're going to go through rentals, right? So when should you rent, and who you should rent to, right? So we're going to go through tenant screening, when you should advertise, like, who should you advertise to? And, really you have to practice fair housing laws and obviously talk to your property manager. However, there are ways to get a really good tenant, right? And you can ask for their tenant screening history. Then we're going to go to refinance. So this is the best part, is when you get all your cash back out almost, if not more, right? The last one we did, we got, I think it was $18,000 or $20,000 back, right? More than we put into the property. And like my number one favorite tax rule is like, you don't pay taxes on borrowed money. That's like, it's crazy. It's insane. And I love it. However, on the refinance, we're going to talk about, essentially the lender, who to kind of develop these relationships with, why you should, and like, what to look for in a good lender, right? And then we're going to talk about seasoning period. So a lot of loans, depending on, especially if it's a typical Fannie, Freddie Mae product, you're going to need to have a seasoning period in order for you to be able to refinance it, right? And You're going to talk about refinance rates, and ask the lender, hey, what is your maximum LTV, loan to value? Then the most important part of the refinance is the appraisal process, right? So we're going to look at how appraisers categorize properties, right? So C1 through C5, C6, your comps, and then we're going to go through like how to pick out comps again. I have a lot of resources. How I'm going to show you guys how to get these resources on your own without like these products that I have, right? So it's easier using Redfin or Zillow or Realtor.com, and I can show you how to do that on your own, because there's something called an appraisal packet that we take to the appraiser when we're doing it, and we show them exactly all the construction that we did to the house, pictures of like how it looked like, and we're going to show them comps of what has sold in the area to get that number up higher. And then we're going to talk about the appraisal results. So like, how to get the maximum ARV and how to get the maximum LTV out of your home. Then we're going to repeat it, right? So like the idea is that this is something that, you're able, once you make your initial investment, you find one and you do it, you're going to be able to pull your money back out and keep doing this thing over and over and over again, right? So we're going to talk about how to find your next deal, and how to even find a bigger deal, right? You might be able to partner with people. So we're going to talk about partnerships, and we're going to talk again more about seller financing, because that's something to me that could really help you out. So there you have it. That's the BRRRR strategy. And I'm Brandon LoCaron. I'm your host, and I look forward to talking to you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.